Nectar Flow Yoga, and we are going to be doing a very short, simple, and restful practice to help release and strengthen your low back. So we'll get right to it, starting in a bridge pose. So coming down onto your back, knees bent, pointing straight up at the sky, feet about hips width, palms face down, and we'll start by tucking the tail to activate the low belly and press the low back into the mat. So you'll feel some engagement deep in the core here as you lift the tailbone. No pressure in the feet, no pressure in the hands to start. Gentle pressure of the back of your head into the mat, and right here you may already be feeling something, a little warmth in the belly. Take a breath in, and then on your exhale, some gentle pressure into the feet to lift the hips for a soft bridge pose. I'm not overexerting the feet into the mat. I'm not pushing my hips way up to the sky, but keeping a nice neutral position. Pointing my tailbone as if I'm trying to draw a line straight between my knees here, and then activate the backs of the arms slightly into the ground. So we'll hold here, draw your knees toward each other gently, feet stay planted in the same spot. Take one more inhale, and then on your exhale, slow lower your back down, curling the tailbone, lifting it, and pressing the low back into the mat. Hold here, neutralize. You can draw your knees together and walk your feet wide for a little bit of a constructive rest posture, releasing into the sacrum. And then we'll heel toe the feet back together. Realign so that the knees come straight from the hips and to the feet, or at that hips width placement. Go ahead, reactivate low back down into the mat. Feel your belly strengthening here. Lift by pressurizing the feet into the mat. Slightly lift your tailbone, hold here. And then pressure the arms into the back of the mat, palms as well. We'll stabilize through the pelvis, activate your left glute, lift or march that right knee, and lower. Lift, left, lower. Just marching here. Eight more. Try to really stabilize your pelvis. So not letting that left hip drop, not letting the right hip drop. That's the work of this posture. Take it slow. 4, 3, 2, and the last one. Keep your hips lifting. Hold. From here, take a break if you need to. Otherwise, root down into that left foot, activate the left glute, lift your right knee, straighten your right leg. And here we'll pulse for 10, 9, strong on your right leg, 7, 6, 5, anchor your arms, 4, 3, 2, 1, lift, release the right leg, lift the left knee, lift your left leg, and take 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift, bend, and lower, and then curl the tailbone, low back comes down one vertebrae at a time. Here, take Suptabata Kanasana, soles of the feet touch, knees wide, close your eyes for 3 long, smooth breaths. Gently draw your knees together, plant your feet, lift that tailbone, drawing the low belly down into the mat. Here we'll just float the arms up overhead, inhale, and then on an exhale, peel yourself up. If you need to, you can grab the backs of your thighs. We'll come up to seated. And then rock yourself forward here into a tabletop. We'll take a few rounds of cat-cow. Lifting your chin, lifting your tailbone on your inhale, tucking your tailbone, tucking your chin on your exhale. If any of these motions feel like medicine in the body and you want to stay for a couple rounds of breath, be my guest. This is all really about listening here to your body. And then land in neutral. Find that little tuck of the tailbone, flattening the low back, engaging your low belly. Take your left toes back, little stretch into the back of the left leg, pressing into your hands, finding length, finding strength. And then push back, neutralize, anchor down through the top of your right foot. From here, I want you to inhale your left leg high, and you'll feel your left glute kick on and point through the left toes. Inhale, take your right arm, extending out. And then look forward. So we're finding a little bit of cow pose in the spine, but keep a slight tuck of the tailbone to keep your low belly engaged. From here, we'll pulse up for 10, 9, stabilize through the left hand, right foot, 7, 6, 5, lift from your shoulder blade, from your left glute, 3, 2, and 1, slowly release. Take your right toes back, push down into the right heel, pushing back, I should say, into the right heel. That little stretch, this is kind of a bonus stretch that I always like to do. And then lifting from that right inner thigh, take your right leg to lift. Point your right toes, hug your right thigh into the midline, extend your left arm long, look forward, arch your back, but keep that slight tuck of the tailbone to draw your belly in. Pulse up for 10, 9, 8, keep lifting from the inner thigh, 6, 5, 4, anchor your left foot down, and 1, release. Child's pose, knees go wide, sink your tailbone to your hips first, and then round down. 3 breaths here. On an inhale, come forward, and then we'll make our way into a prone position. If you'd like, you can take tucked toes and lower down through a slow chaturanga, or keep the knees drop and lower down. Just try to avoid collapsing the hips first. Now from here, we'll take a few variations of locust. I want you to start by having the palms facing down, your forehead down on the mat. Pressurize your hands into the mat, and then find that slight tuck of the tailbone, lifting your belly button, if you could, off of the mat. Drawing it up and in, you'll already hopefully feel some engagement in the low belly. From here, I want you to lift your feet straight up. Push the hands down into the mat, push your forehead down into the mat. We'll hold here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Squeeze your shoulders together. 4, 3, 2, 1. Take your feet wide. Hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Draw the legs together. Lift your head and neck. Look forward. Press your hands down for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Squeeze your glutes. 3, 2, 1. Lower down. You can make a little pillow with your hands. Turn your head to one side. One more breath, resting. Come back, forehead to the mat, palms face down. From here, I want you to anchor your feet into the mat. Squeeze your shoulders together to lift your shoulders away from the mat, and then lift your head, neck, and chest. Hold here, breathing. Now, lift your hands. From here, we'll take the arms out to a T. I'll have to bend slightly to get past this wall and reach. Inhale, exhale, bring it back. You can cactus the arms. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, come back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. 2 more. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. And then lower down. Take that little pillow, turn your cheek the opposite direction, and rest for 3 breaths. Back to neutral. Take your feet wide. Take your arms wide, forehead down. From here, we'll alternate, and the goal is to pressurize the opposite hand into the ground as you lift the other hand, and same with the foot. So I'm going to start by lifting my left leg, my right arm, look forward, inhale, exhale, lower. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. Lifting right and left, lowering. For 3, 4, and 5. Rest here. Maybe find a little pressure of your hands and feet into the ground, a little activation. And then we'll take a Sphinx pose, elbows down, pushing them into the ground, lifting the chin, lifting the chest. I want you to walk your legs together if they aren't already. And then we're going to snake the spine, keeping the knees on the ground, lifting the hips. So you'll round your chin to your chest, then begin to puff up the back. Lift the ribs, lift the belly button, lift the waistband, lift the hips. Keep your back rounding. And then we'll come back down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale. From here, we'll take earth hugging pose. So I'll bring my arms to a cactus, bring this left leg out, 90 at the hip, 90 at the knee, 90 at the foot. And then I like to turn my head the opposite direction. So left cheek to the mat, resting here. Hold this as long as you like. I recommend for at least a minute. So feel free to pause the video, and I'm going to move on for those of you short on time. From here, we're going to take our arms out on this angle once more, legs out on the angle. Now, if this feels like too much, you can take the alternating variation. Otherwise, we're going to inhale, lift arms, lift legs, reach, exhale, slow lower, hover, inhale, lift, exhale, hover, lift, hover. Keep toning your belly, lift, hover, lift and hold, really reach for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, lower down. Find that Sphinx pose again. Shoulders right over elbows, arms are making the number 11. Draw your chest through, look up, and then exhale, round. Inhale, come through. Exhale, round. Inhale, draw it through. Exhale, round. And then release. Find that earth hugging or supine half frog. Take the right cheek to the mat, right leg out at 90, 90, and 90. And please feel free to pause and hold this for as long as feels good in your body. Really softening the inner right hip. Finding some rest. I'm going to move on, drawing the right leg back. Here, if you'd like, for a little more strength, you could take a forearm plank pose, holding for about a minute. Here, I want you to focus on tucking the tailbone, finding length through the crown of the head, and firing up your thighs. So holding that for about a minute if you'd like, or if you're ready to move on to some more restful postures, we'll come back to a variation of child's pose. Knees are together here, arms go back. Tuck your chin into your throat. I like to bring my hairline to the mat here and just rest. And then slowly we'll walk ourselves up and swing the legs around. Coming back on to the back. And starting to close our practice off, we'll take our right knee into the chest, squeeze in here, find that tuck of your tailbone, soften your shoulders, And then you'll just simply drop the right knee away and find a little twisting. Reaching your right arm long. I just got a big pop in my back, so at least for me, this sequence works. Resting into a supine twist. Again, another one nice to hold for about a minute if you have the time. And we'll roll back as you're ready onto your back. Put me on pause if you want to stay there a little longer. Plant that right foot, plant your left foot, and then take the hips to lift for a neutralizing bridge before we move on. Lower it back down, straighten your right leg, hug your left knee in. Squeeze in here, and then simply drop the knee away as you scoot your hips and roll the left knee over to the right. Maybe extend your left arm long and gaze to the left. Close your eyes and breathe. Holding this for 10 breaths or about a minute. And then as you're ready, you'll come back to that neutral position, realign your hips, maybe even take a look, make sure that your hips aren't askew, and then take Suptabata Kanasana, soles of the feet to touch, knees wide. You'll take one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly, lift your chest, and settle in. Holding here again for as long as you'd like, and then make your way to a happy baby posture. So I personally have a little impingement in my left hip, and I like to take happy baby with the knees bent. Calves are to my hamstrings, and I cup my hands on my shins and draw the knees in. This feels really good in my body. Otherwise, you may want to flex the feet and take this variation. Holding here, feeling into your hips, feeling your low back into the mat. We'll draw our knees together, and then here, rock back up to seated. Take your blocks, your bolster, if you have a rolled blanket, any of these work, and we'll bring them underneath the knees. So supporting the knees here, I like to soften the feet. I want you to root your sits bones down, feel them into the earth. I do encourage you to take a bent knee variation for this practice as opposed to a traditional Paschimottanasana or seated forward fold. On your exhale, soften your belly, soften your low back. Start folding forward, let your head be the last to fall. So I'm starting to bring my belly to my thighs, my feet go soft, my palms turn up, and then I let my head go. Start feeling into the full back line of the body. This accesses from the heels around the back of the legs, through the sacrum, along the erector spinae, the muscles that flank the spine, along the back of the neck, through the crown of the head, all the way to your brow line. So see if you can envision that line, that fascial line, as you release and let your head hang heavy. Focusing here on the exhales. Take an inhale, slowly come up. Let your head be last to rise. I do encourage you to pause and hold that posture longer if you like. And then we'll slowly make our way back directly to a supported bridge. So again, bolster, a couple thickly rolled blankets or a block, really nice here. Very important to stay on the flattest part of your sacrum so the block isn't hanging at your tailbone or too high up where it's jamming into my low back. So I feel nice and supported here. And this is where we will end our practice. I encourage you to rest here for quite a while, feeling some release, some heaviness in the sacrum. And then if you have the time, closing off with a short or long shavasana. Thank you so much. Please leave me some feedback and share this with anybody you know that's having low back issues.